So the skeletal system is one of the most important parts of your body, and you must maintain your body active so your bones can stay healthy.
There are four different shapes of bones.
Like for example, there's the long bones, which are long bones are like as the name goes, really long. There's short bones, which are, as you can see, really short.
And there's also flat and irregular. So as you can see, this is a flat bone and it connects all the ribs to it. And the irregular bones, this is what makes our spinal cord.
Despite the different shapes of the bones, they all do the same things at the end. The structure of long bone. The diaphysis is the shaft of the long bone. It is made up of compact bone. It is covered and protected by the periosteum. The ends of the long bone are called the aphysis. The aphysis are made up of spongy bone. The aphysis are protected and covered by articular cartilage instead of the periosteum. This is because articular cartilage is a glassy hyaline cartilage which provides a smooth and slippery surface that decreases friction at the joint. The epiphyseal plate is seen in young growing bone. If it's damaged at a young age before the bone is fully grown, the bone cannot grow anymore, and this results in a short bone. After the bone finishes growing fully, the epiphyseal plate is replaced by bone, and all that is left is the epiphyseal line. In adults, the cavity of the shaft is used to store fat tissue. It is called a medullary cavity. In there you can find yellow marrow. Red marrow, on the other hand, is located in spongy bone, usually in the epiphysis. If the bone isn't usually smooth because there are some bumps, holes, and ridges. These are called bone markings. Bone markings reveal where muscles, tendons, and ligaments were attached. There are two types of bone markings: depressions and projections.
So the most important part about whenever there's an injury is that you have to eventually heal, right? So whatever you start with is that you start with something called a hematoma. A hematoma is a blood-swelled like clot that fills up just to be able to make sure that everything's in place and just kind of like be there in the meantime while everything else happens. After that, there's a fibrocartilage callus forming, which is basically just like splits between like the cartilage, and they come to create like a little patch, right? So after that, once that comes around, then there's the bony callus forms, which the bony callus is basically just what starts happening when the osteoclasts and osteoblasts start coming in to start like breaking and fixing. So it's kind of like a little patch that you had before. Like if let's say that you like make a hole in the wall, you need to put a patch on it. That's basically what it is, and a patch before like you actually paint it. So it's basically the same thing. And the last part is that then the bone remodeling occurs. The bone remodeling occurs in about 2 to 3 weeks, or depending on the injury, it could be even more. It's basically just the same as the last process, but it just takes more time, and it's completely healing it into a normal bone. So instead of it being like broken, it would be like all again. So the bone remodeling would be probably just like pretty much bringing it all together to be the bone that it used to be before. Alright, so as you can see right here, our skeleton friend Henry is here to help us out. So think about if your bone, let's use the humerus for an example. Let's say that your bone is like this small. So what happens is that it's like a little patch that has to keep on growing more and more. So think about it this way. Let's say that you get a cut. So if you get a cut, you have to eventually heal it over again, right? So it's basically almost the same thing. What the osteoclasts do is that they start breaking down the bone more and more, making it weak. So what the osteoblasts do is that they have to completely regenerate it stronger so it doesn't break even more. So that way it's going to keep growing more and more and more until your bone starts growing more to the part that it doesn't grow no more. Like for example, students and like teenagers keep growing more and more, and that's why people keep saying that. So that's basically what osteoclasts and osteoblasts do.
Okay, so the skeletal system, what it does, it supports, it protects, and it also it gives blood cell formation. So for support, our bones help support our body. So basically, it gives us our body structure. So then that way, we just won't look like a ball of slime on the floor. And also, our leg bones, they help support the trunk of the body. so that way we just won't fall. And this also helps support soft organs. For example, it would be like the heart, the lungs. And for protection, our bones help protect all our organs. An example of this would be our brain protecting, our skull protecting our brain. So here, as you can see, if Henry, if he hits the ball with his head, the brain, there won't be no major injury to the brain. And also the rib cage, it helps protect our hearts, our lungs, so we could be able to hit a ball with our chest. And also there's blood cell formation. So basically what this is also called hematopoiesis. So basically what it does is our bones, they make blood cells. Fuck, I messed up. So in our bones, there's also blood cell formation. This is also known as hematopoiesis. So basically, this is where blood cells are made in our bone marrow, and which is inside our bone marrow. There's the spongy tissue, and inside that spongy tissue, there's stem cells. And basically, these stem cells, they grow into 3 different type of blood cells, which is white, red, and platelets. So once these blood cells are fully grown, mature, and are able to function by themselves, they leave the bone marrow and enter the blood.
To start this off, the skeletal system has many structures and functions to the body, but the main ones I will be focusing on is on storage and movement. We will be starting this off with the movement of the skeletal system. The skeletal system works very closely within the muscular system to help you provide some sort of movement. Without the bones of your skeletal system, you would be a blob of water filled with tissues. The movement also provides a framework for your muscles to attach. Muscles and your bones work together in your skeletal system to provide the body to have easier movement. Next, we will move on to storage. On the other hand, storage stores fats in the internal cavities of your bones. The bones serve as a storehouse for minerals like calcium and phosphorus. Problems occur not only when there is too little calcium, but when there is too much calcium. Your hormones also control the movement of the calcium. Another thing that the bones store is energy. Calcium is stored in your bones, and it is also referred to as an essential building, and it also keeps your bones very healthy and strong. Phosphorus, on the other hand, works with calcium to help build your bones, and you also need a certain amount of each for your bones to be healthy. Osteoporosis is a condition in which the bones become weak and brittle. And then you could also have such symptoms like back pain and loss of height over time. People that suffer from osteoporosis are very fragile, that they can have any sort of fracture from even coughing, bending over, any some sort of fall, or any minor detail. The picture, the little holes represent the reduced mass, which makes the bones weaker. And then when you have osteoporosis, the new bone creation doesn't keep up with the older bone removal it's supposed to constantly work.
In our bones is leukemia. So leukemia is a type of cancer that is found in our bone marrow, and this is an abnormal growth of cells. The bone marrow and our bone marrow, it produces all types of blood cells, red, white, and also platelets. So there's one type of cell that it overproduces, which is white blood cells. And most of those white blood cells that are being overproduced, most of them, they're abnormal, and they're not fully matured, and they don't function right, and which could also affect our body, because this cannot help us fight diseases.